Hey, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is a really late video, so I'm going to do it really quick in hopes of getting it out tonight. This is the 153rd episode of Tone Takes. Let's talk about Denmark. Has anyone ever been to Denmark? I would love to visit Denmark. It looks like such a beautiful place. If you don't know where Denmark is, it's like right here, nestled between the North Sea and the Baltic Sea, right between Norway and Sweden, and just above Germany, yeah, so that's where it is. And the only thing it's really famous for, at least as far as I'm concerned, is Lego. It's the home of Lego. But just recently, as of May 31st, they passed a ban banning clothing that covers the face, which, as many of us know, is for Muslims the burqa and the niqab, and public places. And if you are wearing it, you could get a fine of about $160 or 1,000 Danish marks, I believe is the equivalent. And if you don't know, there are differences. There's the niqab, which is the full covering there. Then you've got the hijab, which is sort of a veil or a headscarf. Then you've got the burqa, which covers everything, including the eyes. You've got the chador, if I'm pronouncing that right, which is just sort of like a loose cloak. And then you've got this this last one here, which is called the dupatta, which is also a long scarf, sort of loosely draped over the head. So there you have just the differences and what we're kind of looking at. Now, how did this come about? Well, the Dansk Folk Party, which sounds like an awesome band. I would love to be part of the Dansk Folk Party. They are the second largest party in parliament, and many people that have approved or voted for this ban, they were kind of saying things like, oh, it's not against, the Muslims or their religion or anything like that, but it is just funny because reading this article, the Dansk Folk Party, or the Danish People's Party, they really started putting this law. They suggested it like 9 years ago, according to Vice News. And they are a very right-wing anti-immigration party. And so it just so happens today in 2015, with all of the immigration that has happened over the recent years, with many Muslims coming from the Middle East or Northern Africa into Europe, now that party is like the second largest party in Denmark after the 2015 elections. And it is led by this cool guy, Christian Thulesen Dahl, who, as you can see here, is just, smugly giving the 2 thumbs up because he's like, yeah, man, I don't know how Danes sound. I really need to go visit Denmark, but hopefully they don't shoot me there. Who knows? So yeah, anyway, they're like the third country actually in Europe to actually have a burqa niqab ban. So France has one, and Belgium, actually the fourth. So France, which is right there, Belgium, which is right there, and Austria, which is right there also. And so you've got Germany, and then Denmark is north of that. So they all have now burqa or niqab bans. And it's interesting to note that there aren't even a whole lot of Muslims that actually wear burqas or niqabs to begin with in many of these places. I found one. France estimates that it'll affect like 2,000 women in their country. Belgium, it was as many as 300 people. And then there's another article which I'm reading here, which says it might not even affect 0.2% of Muslim people in Denmark. I should also note that when Belgium put it into effect, the European Court of Human Rights actually said, yeah, there's no big deal. So the European Court of Human Rights upheld Belgium's ban on people, women wearing a niqab or a burqa, and saying that, no big deal. Yeah, the ban can go into place. So I'm not sure if this is really going to have a big effect. I'm not sure why the Danish People's Party really still felt like they had to be the fourth country to put this into place. It is also interesting to note that of all of the clothing bans that we have for women, more countries, according to this Pew Forum article, there are more countries, 50 out of 198 countries surveyed, have at least one law or policy regulating women's religious attire, and this is as of 2012 and 2013. And that's more than the amount of countries, which is about only 12, that actually have laws or policies requiring women to wear particular attire at all. So we care more about women's religious attire than we do about, just their normal attire. So it just kind of gives you a feel for what kind of world we live in that we would care this much about that, and that Denmark would pass a law that literally will only affect 0.2% of women that actually practice this. And according to this article, the women that it affects are actually ethnic Danes. They're people that were born in Denmark and that converted to Islam, and it's going to affect them. And according to this article, Muslim women who wear a full face veil in Denmark are a minority within a minority within a minority. This professor Margit Warburg says that it isn't particularly surprising that ethnic Danes who converted to Islam make up such a high proportion of people who wear the face veil. In all religions, converts tend to follow their faith more strictly. And it's interesting because you also have in Iran, just, what was it, earlier this year? Or at the end of last year, you had many women who were actually taking off their burqas as a sign of protest because they felt that the burqas, the niqabs, the religious wear was very much, what's the word I'm looking for? Oppressive to them. So I'm not understanding. I believe that these countries in Europe don't need these bans, but at the end of the day, whatever the people want to do and the people that are in charge want to do, they want to try and say that it's one thing, but I think we all know that there's a lot of anti-Muslim sentiment in these countries, and that's what's being pushed here. But I don't see it. I'm not understanding why they really had to do that. So that's my take on this. It's just a very interesting subject because it just seems unnecessary, and yet here we are, another country banning the burqa and the niqab for which seems like really no reason other than just to show that they are anti-Muslim. Really stupid reason. But that's all I've got for you all today. Let me know what you think, and I will see you all tomorrow. Peace out.